guys, it's Michelle, the founder of Women Who Wow, the premier online coaching and mentoring platform for the seriously driven woman entrepreneur. If that is you, definitely message me. If you're not a Women Who Wow member, this is something you will never regret doing. You do not get anywhere else in the world what you get from Women Who Wow. So please message me, m.me/Women Who Wow, so we can talk about making you an official Women Who Wow member. But today I'm talking about the world that exists between the hustle and the flow, between dialing in your strategy and then hitting your stride. This is something that, frankly, it was almost became like the breastfeeding or formula feeding of the entrepreneurial world, right? Like I've never shied away from the hustle or the hard work, and there was a little bit of time there where people were like, oh, they're kind of allergic to, when you say words like hustle, when you say words like driven, then all of a sudden, like I'm backing off or whatever. And yet there is there's a world, right? Like there's an intersection of the hustle and the flow, the ironclad strategy and like really hitting your stride. And I started this business in general, really learning strategy and hardcore like psychology, human psychology, specifically sales psychology, and everything that is taught in a kind of a step-by-step, like Stepfordpreneur system. And honestly, I don't regret any of that. It did serve me really well, frankly. It allowed me to build a six-figure business pretty quickly. It allowed me to support my family and my growing family whilst working from home, which was my only goal. But strategy is it can only take you so far. It's like I'm playing tennis with my husband now, and like I learned little tricks and tips about like how to like bend my wrist or not bend my wrist. Right now I'm not bending my wrist because I haven't learned the finer art of like bending my wrist to get the ball over the net. But it can help me a little bit, but it doesn't get me where I really, really want to go. And for a long time, I kind of felt stymied by the fact that I was doing everything I knew to do, and somehow I wasn't where I wanted to be in business. And so please, if you're here live or if you are watching the replay, definitely put like an emoji that represents maybe how this feels to you in the comments, because it was quite frustrating for me. It would be different in my estimation if I was expecting some grandiose success and I wasn't doing the work. It would be weird. It would make sense for me if I like had the champagne taste on a beer like work ethic. That was not the case, and it's not the case for the women that I work with. Right? They are doing the work. They are showing up, and sometimes they start out just like me, where it's like, despite gutting it out, grinding it out, staying up late, doing everything you're supposed to do, dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's, like you experienced enough success to keep you in the game, right? But you didn't have what you really wanted. And that's something that frustrated me and stymied me for a really long time. And, I'm a creative. So like I made excuses for why my hard work wasn't paying off. I had stories. Well, she lives in New York, or she's married to a media executive, or she can spend a ton of money on her PR, or I've got 3 kids under the age of 5. I don't have the time she has, or her dad's a surgeon and he's paying for everything, or she doesn't have to waste time like getting clients or selling anything. Like I have these stories and excuses really, and most of them were true or accurate, but none of them served me and none of them moved the needle in my business. And also, as I said before, I'm no stranger to hard work. It wasn't that I was trying to get out of doing what I was doing. It's that I had been doing it too long to not have had the big increase, frankly, that I deserved, right? And one of the things that I use in sales pages all the time, because I know it grabs people by the heart, is telling them that we can get them the results that they deserve because they've earned it. They're doing the hard work. And this is something that I was just so frustrated by, so frustrated by. And hard work is something that definitely I recommend, right? I have nothing against the hustle. Like everyone knows anyone who knows me or knows my kids know that my kids are hard workers. Like, work is noble from where I come from. I don't think my kids have ever considered not working. I never considered not working. This is who we are. But in this way, I kept thinking that hard work or smarter work or harder work or longer work or whatever was the main thing that I needed more of. And I really, in the beginning years of my business, only focused on the hustle and the strategy. And I couldn't figure out why I wasn't breaking through the way other people were, right? I'm a grizzled veteran in this industry. I've seen a lot of people like break through, and some of them are, one hit wonders, and they're no longer here or here in that, certainly in that capacity anymore. But I was watching it and I couldn't figure it out. And I was in a little bit of a dilemma because I was already working as hard and as long as I possibly could, right? I was already doing that, and I couldn't really put in more hours or work harder or get more effective or more productive. I kind of reached the human limits, right, of what one person could do. And yet I wasn't where I wanted to be. And because I was working so hard, it was also not sustainable for me. And so I want to pause for a minute because I'm going to tell you about why I never fought in an MMA fight, which is actually relevant to this. But when I was training for MMA, I fell in love, right? I was learning just like I did in business. Like, I went in and I trained and I learned like different techniques, and I trained in those techniques, and I learned, different punches and different strategies and stuff like that. But when I was sparring, meaning somebody was hitting me back, right? When I was sparring, where I wasn't training, I was in the ring and I was fighting another person, all the strategies and stuff went out the window. And I was pretty good, right? I went on sheer gut in the ring. And the only strategy that I kept in mind when I was sparring was human psychology. Like, so for instance, like, I knew that I could do a fake punch, like to you on this side. And I knew that human psychology would have you going like this. And then I could come around with another punch. You didn't even know it hit you, right? So I used, the only thing that I remembered consciously in the ring was human psychology and how we behaved under threat of a punch, right? That's the only thing that I can think consciously. And everything else was just sheer gut. And I remember my trainer would always say, and he was kind of badass, right? Like, and he would say, Michelle, you're all offense all the time. He's like, eventually you're going to get hit, right? You're going to get hit. And I wasn't afraid of getting hit. Like, I was, when I got in the ring, I was all offense. I went right for it. And, my thought was like, get in there fast and hard, get it done and have them tap out. And I decided at a certain point that I wasn't just doing this to like lose weight or get in shape, that I was going to fight in an MMA fight. And I forget how old I was. I'm 42 now. I would have been older anyway for MMA, but like now it sounds young. But I think I was maybe 34, 35, I don't know. But I decided I was going to fight. And I didn't care about my age. I was still going to do it. I'm pretty badass in the ring, and I have a really great coach, and I'm going to do it, right? I'm just going to go in there, and I'm going to have at least one official MMA fight. And then I remember hearing about that Rossi chick, right? And so that would probably tell you how old I was. Whenever she first came out on the scene. Well, actually, let me take that back, because here's what went through my mind. I remember hearing about Rossi, that girl who like broke someone's arm, a couple people's arms in 9 seconds. But in this case, she'd only broken one person's arm in 9 seconds. And I remember thinking, she's on like the main stage events right now, but not a couple months ago, this chick Rossi was like an unknown like me. And she was fighting unknowns like me. And I remember thinking like, okay, well, I was looking for fights that were coming, somewhere close to me, and I was going to enter one. And I remember thinking, 9 seconds, right? Because my thought was, if I'm fighting somebody who's like beating the try out of me, I'll just tap out, right? Like, I have no ego in this. I just want to be in a fight and, and do what I could do and leave. But if I'm losing big time, like, I'm just going to tap out. But I remember thinking 9 seconds, like, could I, because I'm a pretty stubborn girl, would I have enough time to understand that she's getting ready to break my arm and come to the realization of that, like, Michelle, you're really in a position, you're over your head, and have time to tap out in 9 seconds, right? I remember thinking that through, and that like scared me, because the truth is, what I wanted to have an official MMA fight. I didn't want to just train and spar anymore. I wanted to get in the ring and gut it out and see how far I could go. But what I wanted more was to not have my arms broken. Let's just be honest. Right? And so, anyway, this applies because when I was in the ring and sparring, and the reason that even at that age that I could have competed, not against somebody like her probably, but that I could have competed in an MMA fight, is because I went on sheer gut. But in my business, I wasn't going on sheer gut. I was relying mainly on strategy and moves and counter moves and technique, which allowed me to create some success, right? I'm not knocking it. I still teach it to this day, but I never really hit my stride, if that makes sense. I never hit my stride. And so when I just started going with my gut, like I did in the ring, obviously my business gut has been informed by a decade and a half at that point of strategy and all of that. When I started just kind of let go in business, the way I let go in the ring, not focusing on really any kind of technique, just going on gut and doing what I could. When I started to go with my gut, I started to hit new goals. I started to break through glass ceilings that I hadn't been able to break through before. I started to fall back in love with my business, get more confidence. I started to flow, right? I started to choose and sell things and make events happen that were really aligned with what like lit me up inside. And it wasn't so much about the strategy. And it was all tied to what I really wanted, right? When I moved my vision, so remember with the MMA fighting, like I thought I wanted to fight, but my greater vision was I wanted to keep both my arms not broken, right? But when I moved my vision back then from making like a certain amount of money per month or whatever, and I moved that vision to what I truly wanted to create, a business beyond business strategy, a business beyond teaching business strategy, a business beyond that not just created income for myself and my clients, but also creating an impact in women's lives and homes, and also to create some influence in a pretty integrity corrupt industry, right? When I moved my vision beyond like the immediate and into something more important, things started changing for me. Right? The truth is, when I started my business, I thought I just wanted to make ends meet. That's what I wanted to do, right? That was literally the only goal, the reason that I started my business, plain and simple, to make ends meet, right? Just like I thought I just wanted to fight in an MMA fight. But when I got clear on my bigger want, right? Like to walk with both my arms intact, or I truly want an extraordinary business, right? I truly want a lifestyle business, a business that allows me to be proud of my work and love the people I work with. When I got clear on that, I began to flow more, right? I began to hit my stride. I didn't spend so much time like gritting my teeth and in the trying circle, right? I didn't spend as much time like dotting on my I's and crossing on my T's. I just started leading almost with heart or with gut, right? And I was able to get off the struggle bus by allowing my strategy to just kind of, be there, but as foundational to me showing up and just doing what my gut told me to do, very much like I did in the ring. And over this time, by the way, I always loved the hustle, the pursuit, always loved it, right? I'm always going to love that aspect of capitalism, that aspect of business. I love it. It's who I am. But I did, over this time, to be honest with you, I did lose my taste for the strategy, for the step-by-step stuff. I lost my taste for it because I understood it can only get you so far. So today, in Women Who Wow, what I teach really are principles that are applied to sales and sales psychology and human psychology and funnels and all of that stuff. But I teach principles, not the step-by-step, you should have X number of words and make sure you use this word in the headline. And, that kind of stuff. First, it's always changing. Secondly, it takes the heart out of you showing up. And if you're not showing up with heart, then you will quickly be Amazoned. You will quickly be overtaken by competitors who are willing to stand up and be fully authentic, let their heart show, right? And I understand now that it's like a 20-80 rule, right? So it's maybe 20% of what creates wild success, that strategy, the step-by-step, the things you got to know and you got to do. It's maybe 20%, and 80% is everything else. It's the focus, the direction, the principles, the mental toughness needed to stay the course. I cannot tell you how many business owners in the MLM world, which I've never been in except as a trainer or coach, but so I've never sold any of those products, but in the MLM world, they call it quitting before payday. And I've always remembered that because I think I would hate to quit before payday. That would be, awful in my opinion, for me. And so I saw that a lot of people just needed the mental toughness to stay in just a little bit longer so they could see the results that would keep them in a little bit longer so they could build their own kind of flow-based success. But the truth is the world between hustle and flow is an intersection, right? It's like, I look at it as like the strategy is like foundational. I understand what's necessary. And then the flow is how I apply it when I'm in the ring, right? When I'm in the ring and when I'm hustling. And it's the intersection of those two. So I wanted to say something, and I am opening up a course for coaches and experts. It's going to be free. You can participate live if you want to ask questions, but if you don't want to be live, I'm not sure how I'm going to play it out. I might have a Facebook group for it, or I might just do it right here. I haven't decided that yet, but if you can't do it live, it'll always live on my page that I have for coaches. It's bmichellepippin.com/coaching-for-cash. And there's a bunch of stuff there for coaches. It's just for coaches and experts. And so anyway, but we're going to focus, I'm going to do a live free course. We're going to focus on strategic shifts and mental magic, a heavy dose of human psychology, which undergirds everything that we do in business and even in how we buy things and how we market, how we position ourselves. So that is coming up, but I would love for you to invite your friends who are coaches and experts to that. I'd also love for you just to reach out to me, m.me/Women Who Wow, and let me know what's going on in your business. First of all, definitely if you're a Women Who Wow member, let me know. If you're not a Women Who Wow member, let me know so that I can get you in and welcome you properly. But I appreciate you being here with me today, and if you have any questions about business at all, let me know and we'll cover it in a future live training. Talk to you later. Bye.